So we're back at the Reptarium, and last time, if you saw the last episode up here, you remember they were just setting some of this stuff up. And I was really impressed with the way they were doing that. So in this week's episode, I want to answer this question for you. If you were going to make a Reptarium in your home, how would you get started with that? Let's check it out. Okay guys, so first cage is for Ivy and what was the male's name?
Aries.
Ivy and Aries, the legendary anacondas here at Reptarium. Tell us a little bit about this beautiful enclosure.
Well, this is kind of like the showpiece that I wanted to build when I started to do the second expansion, and I wanted just one like big, octagon cage, lots of glass. Obviously, anacondas, they really love water, so you want to give them a nice water feature. But it looks pretty elaborate, and I mean it is in a way, but it's not as bad as you think. I mean, literally, it's just the base, and this is all just plywood, just plywood.
Okay, everything under the island.
Everything is plywood. And then we just have literally an aquascape pond filter.
That like a canister style that dumps out the top.
Exactly. That's built into here. We foamed all around it, like with just expandable foam, right? Okay. So it's actually in there. And then you seal the whole thing with expandable foam too. So you can take plywood, build this all out. You can foam it. Now we ended up using polyurea. That's all the rocking and stuff like that to fixture the thing out. But you can even use foam and chisel it out, paint it up, whatever you do.
Right. DIY style.
Yeah, you can totally DIY style. We have the actual pump vault is over here. So we built just a little, again, just acrylic box that the pump fits down into. It's a flap so that we can go in and change it out if it happens. We got the grating in there that is actually sucking the water in. Then there's a pipe that comes over here, feeds this little canister filter that's just ultimately water fall down. So really the most expensive part about this entire enclosure was the glass. Lots of money in the glass. But other than that, it's actually a relatively simple enclosure to build.
So if I was going to do this at home, maybe what I could do is build that plywood enclosure and do either something like concrete or something like that. If I could reduce this to one pane of glass and frame it in there, then other than that, it's just a pond.
It's just a pond. It's just a pond. And the filters are not that expensive. I mean, you can buy a filter for $300-400 that has a waterfall on it. So, I mean, if you did a DIY, make down thing, get rid of all this expensive glass, because each one of these panes of glass is like $2,000. You get rid of those panes of glass, you could really do it on cheap, and you could do an awesome water feature for an anaconda, and you don't have to have $30,000 into an enclosure to do it.
Now, obviously, like the biggest benefit I think from the outside of the cage is being able to look through to what they're doing underwater and see all that natural behavior.
You have at least one pane of glass all the way down, because seeing them underwater is amazing.
Now, how do you think the animals enjoy it? You've
Oh my gosh! I tell you what, when we took them from pretty much just a cage that had a water bowl to this, they changed their entire personality.
Really?
100%. They went from being like really cool animals to you see now curious, run around. It's almost like they've got the confidence that they needed. I mean, unbelievable change of behavior just through mental enrichment. Awesome. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Brian's favorite cage, and I got to agree, there's something like visually impactful about this cage.
It just incorporates that golden ratio, like that rule of thirds kind of photography thing. So, and the way that it's set up, it's just beautiful. Like, it's got that. It's got the space this way, and then it just looks beautiful. Like it's the amount of foliage. You have the purple and the green, so I'm going strictly like visual here. The other thing this guy going for it, the heating and lighting is like right where the snake kind of wants to be, right at eye level on that branch. That's like, at least for me, not necessarily for kids. I'm sure they put
this is your perfect
this
basket.
is the perfect basket, and it happens to be at that spot that follows that rule of thirds, where it's on that section, so on that top, the middle line of that top third, right where I want it to line up, and happens to be at my eye level, like almost exactly. Plus, it's like one of the classic display animals, the tree snakes that wrap on a tree. Everybody knows them as display animals.
Which really can utilize this kind of proportions. Because if you had a retic in there, I don't think it has enough space to do its thing horizontally. It's a little bit too vertical for a retic. but something like a green tree boa.
They're simple little things, but they just happen to line up. And then, I mean, this is like high-end shower door. Like you feel like you're in a nice hotel, somebody's nice home with these hinges.
Well, you know, for a cage, this is a 6 foot tall cage. That's a big cage. You know what I mean? So I think you could build a cage like this using this kind of universal rock roll-out stuff, and then buying the right proportions and like the really nice hardware, the really nice glass from a shower door company.
Yeah.
You're probably putting a little bit of money into that.
Oh yeah, look at this. This is like beveled edge tempered glass.
Yeah.
Like this is.
But you put all the money exactly where it needs to be to make the most visually appealing and pleasing aspect. So I think spending the money just right on the key elements according to like artistic design, putting the time into the design element, you can really have like a very impactful enclosure for your animals. Instead of just something you bought that was suitable for the animal to live in, you designed it into the home. Let's go see the next one. All right, guys, so I'm gonna bring things down a little bit. This is like a little slice of heaven for me, you know what I mean? So what we have going on here, I think what I like about this cage, first of all, if you look at it, Zilla style or Exoterra style enclosure, and that's all it is, the type of one that you can go buy from your local reptile shop. But what they did was they put this gorgeous background in it. The sides aren't even, you know, they're decorated outside the tank. So I'm sure that helps keep up with the maintenance, because with the spraying you get that mineral buildup, you can scrape it off. But it's got not a waterfall, but beautiful running water coming down the log. And then this whole pond area down here that you can see. And I mean, I don't know, you gotta love a poison dart frog. But I think that's what does it for me. It's just that gentle running water down the back and all the live plants. So if I wanted this kind of experience at home, I think the number one thing, I mean, other than setting it up with the dart frogs, and I think the live plants really make it, I think here's the biggest thing, guys. The thing that really impresses me so much about the Reptarium setup here is that it's simple enclosures designed to work for the animals. If you go behind this whole wall, all you're going to see is a bunch of 2x4s set up to build these cages in there. So what you actually have is a similar situation to what a lot of us DIY guys would build if we bought a bunch of tanks like these. We would just probably take some 2x4s and throw them together to put the tanks on there. And then what they did was they took decoration that works inside the cage and they matched it to the decorations outside the cage. And that's, I think, what gives us this whole experience of like walking through the aisles as though I'm in the jungle myself. A lot of times it's funny, the decorations that we put into our reptiles cages, let's be honest, sometimes they're not even, they're like, they don't hurt the animals, but they're really there for us. They're like extra. I think the biggest thing to bringing the Reptarium experience home is to decorate the inside of the cages and then set your space up nice. Like plan out the display of these beautiful animals that we love. You know, what you have behind the scenes in the maintenance area is one thing, but when you put together all the little tiny pieces of display and you tie them together with the decoration, it's almost as though we are inside the jungle right here in Detroit, Michigan. You're walking around, you may not get to have Barczyk and Cusco and a giant lizard walking around your house, but I really think that having a little bit of the spirit that is what makes the Reptarium what it is completely achievable at home. So I hope you guys think about that stuff. Make a space that's good for you. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you next time.